Hey, everybody. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Holly and I are going to be presenting a webinar this coming Sunday in a few days. And wanted to just give you a little sneak preview of something we might be talking about. So, Holly,
Well,
what subject were
yeah,
we talking about?
we're going to be talking about how to feel more secure in your relationships, and part of that we're going to be talking about is the different parenting styles, the different ways that you may have been parented as a child, and how that affects your relationships now. So, you want to share a little more in detail about that, Jen?
Yeah. So, we grow up and we have caregivers, which for many of us, it was our parents, but not for everybody. Or maybe we're with our parents for a little bit and then someone else took over, whether it was a family member or, we went someplace else. And all these things that occur for us in how we were raised actually have a lot of effect for us as we get older. So I may say parent, I may say caregiver. It's interchangeable right now for this particular conversation. But there's four basic ways that parents might be with us. One way might be like the very supportive, very safe and secure parent, where you felt like all your needs and your beliefs and your values were honored, and it was very, you felt worthy, like you were given such a supportive way of being that you grew up feeling very comfortable in your skin because you knew how much you were loved and cared for.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's not really a lot of us, though. Unfortunately, a lot of us have these next three types, which makes our lives a little uncomfortable because it stays with us. So, as I talk about these parenting styles, see if you can pick out one or both of your parents' way of being and see if you can see how it affected you. So, another way that a parent may have been with us or a caregiver may have been with us is that, yes, they were loving and supportive, but we weren't always sure that they would be around. Um, maybe, maybe you had a mom that was really needed to be needed. That was just her energy, her personality type. And so you might wake up and go, "Where's mom?" And you're told, "Oh, she went to go help her mother or another family member somewhere else. And there's someone coming to get you, and you're going to go stay at like the neighbor's house or something." And it was very, very upsetting for you. And maybe the parent that was left behind or the caregiver, you didn't feel as comfortable with. And so there was this kind of nervousness or discomfort till mom came home. Could have been the opposite. Maybe you got along better with dad, and all of a sudden dad changed jobs, and where he used to get you out of bed and get you, I don't know, your breakfast or something, like all of a sudden he couldn't be there for you anymore. So through no fault of his own, it just, he wasn't in your presence anymore. And there was this real feeling of a disconnect because maybe you didn't care for how it now was. So maybe that was what your life was like. Or, maybe you had one or both parents that could have been the kind of parents that were like very distant, cold, um, maybe not really abusive, but maybe they put some unrealistic pressure on you. Like, they were there physically for you, but not emotionally. And if you brought home good grades, it was like, "Yeah, you got an A, but your penmanship could have been better." Or, there was some, "When I say be quiet, you better be quiet." Or maybe they pulled their belt off as a threat. Like, if you're not quiet, you're going to get in trouble. Maybe you had a parent like that, where your emotional needs were just really not taken care of at all. Um, then there's this fourth style that's probably the most uncomfortable style. Maybe you had a parent that was hmm, abusive in a way, either physically, emotionally, mentally. Maybe they were some kind of an addict, drugs or alcohol. Uh, Maybe there was some emotional, what do you call it, like a mental um, uh, disconnect, right? Where they couldn't quite really connect with you in a way that you wanted, but there was something there, but it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So an example of that might be, I'm just going to pick on the dad for a second. Your dad might scoop you up and say, you know, oh my God, I love you so much and you're awesome. But man, your mom, I don't like her, or call her dirty names or whatever, mean names. And so in your mind, there was a lot of confusion of, I'm connecting, but the rest of it doesn't feel good. So there's this anxiety about how I feel when I'm actually connecting with my father, but it's in an unhealthy way. And so if you had these kind of parenting styles where, these parents might have made you feel uncomfortable because they left for some reason or another, it could have been divorce or anything. If they took care of you physically, but not emotionally, or if the way they took care of you emotionally was really uncomfortable because you knew that the way that they were doing it made you just feel unsafe or uncomfortable, you might want to come and hear a lot more about that and the webinar that we're going to have in a few days. It's going to explain so much more about why these things happen in our childhood and how having that happen, we bring that with us in life. And then everything we see, everything we do, all the thoughts we have, everything goes through that filter. And we look at life through that particular way that we were raised, and we don't even realize it. So if you want to understand.
This isn't about blaming, and it's
Oh,
never
no.
about blaming, and we're not about that at all. And a lot of us have done a lot of work on that. But then when you get into a relationship, a lot of buttons can start getting pushed.
Yep.
And so this work, what we talk about, what we'll be talking about in the class, is going to help you to understand that, and not from a blaming way, but more from an empowering way, so that you have tools and you have understanding, so that your relationships can feel more fulfilling and exciting, and so that you get all that excitement that's at the beginning of a relationship. It can continue on through the course of your relationship and your friendships and all your connections, no matter how long you're together.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't mean for it to sound like there's blaming, because there's not.
No.
It really is more about when something's explained and we can understand it, it's not an excuse, but an explanation sometimes gives you that aha, where you're like, now I understand why I have felt the way that I have felt.
Yeah, you can become more of an observer.
Yeah.
And then you can feel empowered going, oh, okay, now I understand why I'm doing that. I understand why the other person is doing that. And this is what I can do to shift it and to feel better and stuff. So, yeah.
So if that sounds of any interest to you, I'm going to put all the details below. Come on and register, come to the webinar, and we will explain to you what's actually going on, because there is an explanation and it'll make sense.
And,
all right, you guys.
We will be doing when we will be taking one-on-one and help you. We will take as many as we can. So this will be a little more interactive. It won't be just listening to us talk for 90 minutes.
Right. Yeah. No, we definitely want to hear your story and then try to like unravel and break it down so that it makes sense to you why it's happening the way it is.
Yep.
But we got to go. We'll have another video here soon, but we'll talk to you again.
Okay.
Bye.